Although when I first arrived at Jabil, I was unsure what I would take away from this experience as a radiation therapy major, my doubts were proved wrong by the end of this project. Our first step for our 5-member team was to 5S the echo lines. This included evaluating the process that was already there, using a spaghetti diagram to map out which steps were inefficient and efficient that each of the workers took. And from there, we developed a plan that would allow more efficient time to be used and less of the inefficient waste of time walking over to get boxes, walking to make tally marks to mark how many boxes you've done for the night. This also involved a 3-step plan to sustain everything that we would have done during this week. We taped out the areas for the machines, we taped out the areas for box pallets, and we labeled a lot of the items that the workers use on a daily basis so that they know where to go and that when other shifts would come in, they would be put in the exact same spot. The lesson that I really learned from this project was the organizational and planning skills, and one of the people that really helped me learn that was Joe, one of my teammates. After each meeting we had as a group of 18, our 5-member team stayed behind for about 5 to 10 minutes, and we'd talk about what we were going to do once we got out on the floor and prepare for that, because once you got out there it was kind of noisy, kind of distracting, and not a lot could get done conversationally. The second project we had was to VSM the chili lines. VSM is value stream mapping. This involved creating a map to design what would happen from the time that a person put in an order for what they wanted all the way back to the time that it got back to them. And one of the things we really found out from this was there was a lot of inefficient time used. So how this worked for the management team was allowed them to help create which parts of their system that they needed to really, really focus on. How we went about this was that none of us really had any clue what we were supposed to be doing other than a brief presentation by Shannon and a piece of paper that he gave us. But after talking about it for about an hour, we ended up talking with Shannon a little more and some of the office workers, and together we came up with how we were going to go about this. I was personally tasked with the job of designing the presentation for it, because the one that they previously had was very unorganized, very messy, and very hard to read, especially if you didn't exactly understand it. What came out of this was we made one that was color-coded, it was easily legible, and for someone who didn't even know what the factory processes were or who this order was being shipped to, it was very easy to tell by looking at the VSM. The lesson I learned from this was the importance of teamwork and the value of encouragement, because going in as a radiation therapy major surrounded by a bunch of engineers, it was kind of hard to think that I could be equal to them. But with the help of my team members, I really excelled and found that I was actually very good at the VSM. In conclusion, I was truly surprised with what I could take away from this project, not only the technical skills like VSM, but also the lessons on leadership and teamwork.